Hello everyone, I am the Lore Explorer, and this is a short video looking at the ships of the Outer Wild Venturers. I'll try to take a guess as to which order each one of the Hearthian explorers took off. To start the video off, we can look at our ship, as it's the baseline of which we can judge the other ships against. Our ship really is the ideal ship for space travel, if you ignore the autopilot function, that is. With 10 thrusters on 2 blocks on either side of our cockpit, we have instant acceleration in any direction. Our cockpit is parallel to the landing legs, giving us a great view of everything in front of us, and we have a radio dish on top of the ship. Inside, we have a gravity crystal that keeps us firm on the ground, even if we are upside down. And there's a grav well allowing us an easy entrance as soon as we walk under our ship. While we're here, we can also go through the functioning bits in the ship. If our ship is damaged, the computer will show us what's damaged and where it's located. We have a landing cam, and if we use it, there's a nav ball, which tells us our location on the planet and which direction we are moving on it. A fuel gauge also shows us when our fuel is low, but that rarely ever happens unless you can get in some sort of accident that causes fuel to leak out of your ship. On the other side of the ship's screen, we have a functioning altimeter, which tells us where we are related to the ground. To see this, we have to use our landing cam, which gives us a great view of what's below. Also, when you use the landing cam, it automatically fires your downward thrusters, giving you a small bit of slowing down, I guess. Last but not least, behind the cover, an eject button waits, allowing us to escape certain peril at any time that we damage the reactor. There is some more things in the ship, but these are the ones that are useful for actual spaceflight. So with that out of the way, let's head to the Outer Rock to see Esker, who set up the first outpost the Outer Wilds Venturers are responsible for. Quite like I did, it seems Esker caused a crater on his journey to the Outer Rock. Half in the ground, we can make out what used to be Esker's ship. Interestingly, this is actually the ship that was used in the alpha by the player character. Though Feldspar surely tested it first, the ship that Esker piloted looks a lot like ours, but it pales in comparison. It's also very heavy, and the thruster's tiny. Esker may not have had enough thrust to stop in time, but our whistling friend has a house of his own here. He's the only one of the Venturers who has taken up permanent residence. I guess maybe Feldspar, but you can make that decision for yourself. Let's go visit. I'm not sure if Feldspar left Timberhearth second, but it's a good bet. He may have just left later and kept his first ship, but looking at his ship, it seems very small. It only has one set of 5 thrusters. This means to slow down, he'd have to turn his ship completely around and fire his engines. That may seem ridiculous, but that's how most of our real-world spacecraft work today. Feldspar's window looks the opposite way of his landing legs, meaning Feldspar would have had to use his landing camera every time they wanted to land. It's cool to note even Feldspar's ship had a probe launcher built in. He's got a big radar dish like ours, and another thing to note is I have no idea how they entered their freaking ship. But following his harmonica, we can look at Feldspar's camp. The fully grown trees gives us the impression of just how long he's really been here, although we don't really know how long they take to grow in the Outer Wilds universe. Next we can visit our favorite astronomer. It seems they've been exploring the solar system for a while, but their latest mission has landed them on Ember Twin. Slate has asked Chirk to come remap the stars, as their current maps are out of date. Their ship is actually pretty unique. Right away you notice this sucker has 3 windows. Where our 2 blocks of thrusters are, sit 2 more, what I assume to be fully functioning cockpits. Maybe so they can get a better view of the stars around them as they fly through the solar system. Like Feldspar, they only have 1 block of thrusters. But look how close to the ground they are while landed. He has barely any room for error. These things had to take a few bumps. All 3 windows each have a scout launcher mounted to their side. I don't seem to be able to find their radio dish. They may use a portable one. I wonder if the older ships have gravity crystals inside. God, I sure hope so. The next ship I think was built is Gabros. His ship has 2 blocks of thrusters like ours. He's got 1 cockpit that faces the same way as ours does. Their ship is the best view we can get of the landing camera, which looks remarkably like our own. For some reason, he has a radio hanging out on the side of his ship, probably just for style. Gabbro's radar dish seems to be the same style as his helmets, being an antenna that's bent in cool little different funky shapes. All of the ships have had fuel, water, and oxygen tanks on them, but they are the easiest to see on Gabbro's ship since we are in the water. This is the first ship where I can see an entrance, but it seems to be made out of wood rather than the glass dome we have. But all in all, it's starting to look a lot like the ship we use. Unfortunately for the Outer Wild Venturers, Gabbro doesn't do much science. Neither does Rebic. He's too afraid to go study things that they'd like to. But their ship is the most advanced besides our own. In fact, the only difference I see is his cockpit looks upward when landing, when ours looks out horizontally, meaning they'd have to use their landing camera each time when they land as well. They'd even have a glass dome entrance like we do, making it the only ship we see an obvious entrance to, and the only ship that we actually see the Nomai technology in, as that dome, opens and the grav well sucks us in. I'm assuming, anyway. To sum it up, the order of launches for the Outer Wilds Venturers should be Esker, then Feldspar, Chert, Gabbro, then Rebic, and finally, us. It's hard to say how much science went on during this period of time, but at least they are out there exploring the ancient technology of the Nomai. I mainly wanted to make this video to show off the functioning parts of our ship, but I saw an opportunity to add a little bit of lore, even if it's kind of guessed. I hope you guys found it interesting. For now, this is a lore explorer studying the game so you don't have to.